Hello and welcome to Female Cricket Live, powered by Radio. The final match of the Women's T20I in the 2022 Commonwealth Games will be played today between India and Australia at Edgbaston in Birmingham. The match will start at 9:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and all the fans can catch the live action on Sony Live app and Sony Sports Network. Now, before we start previewing the all-important finals between India and Australia, let us have a quick look at the bronze medal match that was played just early in the day between England and New Zealand, which New Zealand went on to win by 8 wickets. So batting first, England were reduced to a modest score of 110 for 9 in 20 overs, thanks to Hayley Jensen, who picked up 3 for 24 in her 4 overs. On the other hand, for England, it was the captain Nat Siver who top scored with 27 runs. In reply, New Zealand simply made light work of the run chase as they completed the formalities in just 11.5 overs with 8 wickets in hand, thanks to their captain Sophie Devine, who scored an unbeaten 51. On the other hand, for England, it was Nat Siver and Freya Kemp with the ball who picked up 1 wicket each. Now, with that win, New Zealand have clinched the bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games. Now, moving on, we have the all important clash. It is between India and Australia, the final match in the Women's T20I of the Commonwealth Games, and the winner of this match will clinch the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. And now to preview this match, I have with me Dinesha Devnarayan, Sonia Dabir, Anish D'Souza, Anand Ramprasad, Neha Shetty, and Anish D'Souza. And sorry if I'm Ricky Sims, sorry. All right, so we have a complete full house today. So, brief introduction of all our guests. So, let us start with you, Sonia ma'am. So, Sonia Dabir has been a former India cricketer and she has played international cricket between 2010 and 2014 for India. Then we have Dinesha Devnarayan, who's a former captain of South Africa women's cricket team. And since 2020, she has been the head coach of South Africa women's under 19 team. Then we have Dr. Anand Ramprasad, who has a specialization in sociology of sport and is a columnist at Trinidad Guardian. Then we have Ricky Sims, who is a Sri Lankan cricket commentator, sports compere, sports presenter, and has been covering the sport for more than 12 years. Then we have Anish D'Souza, who is an ardent cricket follower and member of the North Stand Gang, which is a sports enthusiastic community of Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. And finally, we have Neha Shetty, who is an avid cricket follower and a cricket podcaster. So, welcome all of you to Female Cricket Live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Great, great. It is great to have a full house just before the final, all important final between India and Australia. So let us get this discussion kick-started. All right. So, Dinesha, let me ask you first up that you have been the former captain of South Africa. So, if I want to ask you that in case you get to go in the shoes of Harmanpreet Kaur just before the finals between India and Australia, what do you think will you give the pep talk to women in blue?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that we've got to be present and we've got to appreciate the moment we had a final. I think we've got to take that in. And yeah, look, you know what? I look at the first game. So I'm Harmanpreet Kaur now at the moment. If I look at the first game, it wasn't a bad loss. We let ourselves down in the field or in that match in a few areas, but I think, to be honest, I think we've been playing better cricket. Um, we've been playing, so we weren't maybe as dominant as Australia has been, but I think as a unit, we're playing really good cricket. And it boils down to 3.5 hours now. We've got to play good cricket here. We've got to bruise our bodies to get the gold. And that's just from a fielding aspect as well. We've just got to throw our bodies around the field. We've got to run hard between the wickets. So we have the ability to hit boundaries. We can get off strike, but how can we get one? How can we get twos from ones? And you know what? At the end of the day, we've got a massive nation to play for. We've got people rooting for us. Uh, we've let ourselves down in big finals a lot, and I think what a better time than to come out now, give it your all, and yeah, let's play for the badge. I think the result will take care of itself. Let's take care of our individual performances first. So as a team, we can go back, stand on the podium, and get the gold medals. I think there's nothing greater than that there. So I suppose the rest is up to the preparation leading up into this game. Yeah, and most importantly, have fun when you go out there. Play the brand of cricket that you want to play, you want to be admired for. Yeah, just create that brand that you want to make little girls, even boys, fall in love with that brand of cricket. But yeah, it'll go something along the lines of that.
Absolutely. I think a wonderful pep talk by you, Dinesha, on behalf of Harmanpreet Kaur for Team India. All right. So, Sonia ma'am, let us move on to you and let us get your thoughts on the first semi-final that was played between India and England. It was a cliffhanger. India managed to win the match by just 4 runs. So, what are your thoughts on India's performance in that game?
I think as we discussed that day, I think it was going to be as good as a super over. Thankfully, Sneha Rana, who bowled a brilliant over, I will say, because she had to bowl having only three fielders outside because of that penalty. Overall, it was a really very good game, and I think Indian team got the feel of the final. I will say definitely because it was such a crunch situation in which they were playing, but definitely a few things I will say that they shouldn't have done on that day is giving Shefali Verma an over because Pooja Vastrakar had 2 hours left. So she would have been actually very good in that situation because she's bowling really well after her COVID, even after having COVID and coming back and doing that bowling. So I think these few things and rightly mentioned the running between in the pep talk right now the running between has to be really on the toes because these ones and twos matter a lot when in such a crucial game that is
I think Sonia ma'am, you just yeah,
uh,
you went on mute. I think by mistake. Yeah,
till when I was mute.
running between the wickets we could get.
Running between I think is very important because those conversions of ones into twos or even twos into threes in such a crucial match does help a team because at the end of a very important game or in a crunch situation these 1 and 2 runs do count a lot. So that's the thing which I think India should be able to do it in this gold medal match today.
Absolutely. I think some great points are mentioned by you, Sonia ma'am, about the India-England match. Now, moving on, I'm sure that India will carry a lot of confidence with them when they take on Australia in the finals. So, Anish, how do you think will be India's approach? How much confidence will they gain from that win over England?
So I would say that they would be really confident, but I hope they are not too confident. So the like I don't want them to be overconfident. But after seeing them in the semi-final against England, all the boxes were ticked. Like excellent fielding with all three runouts, except for that last over dropped by Harleen Deol. But that's okay. She was on as a substitute anyway, so I don't think she was too into the game. But the bowling was also very good. Like and Harmanpreet Kaur also managed to shuffle the bowlers around very effectively. And as expected, Smriti Mandana was like a firecracker at the start. She like took on all the English bowlers and hit them all over Edgbaston. So at the start, at the first in the first power play, the run rate was around 10. So that was a very good start. So I guess they should continue the same approach tonight.
Absolutely. I think the Indians will have to pick up from where they left against England in the semi-final. Now, moving on to Australia, let us move on to you, Ricky. What are your thoughts on the Australia-New Zealand game? Australia, of course, winning the semi-final with 5 wickets in hand against New Zealand. Sorry, Ricky, can you unmute yourself, please? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I thought it's another comprehensive win for Australia. They have played a good cricket right throughout the Commonwealth Games, and yes, they had to sort of chase in the first game against India, stiff score. Then they had the two fairly easy games versus Pakistan and Barbados, but the New Zealand game, I thought that they had it right throughout under control. Even though New Zealand went on to score a good total, it was never a case where New Zealand sort of outplayed Australia or where New Zealand really took hold of that game against Australia. So it was even when that partnership was going on, I thought that the New Zealand batters, when they had 8 wickets in hand, they would have probably tried to accelerate a bit sooner because playing a formidable lineup like Australia, which has a strong batting lineup, you need to get 160 plus, maybe 170 if you're going to defend. And they had a very good partnership there for the third wicket. But if you take a look, it was almost at a runner ball, which I thought in that case was with when you have another 8 wickets in hand, New Zealand probably would have gone a bit harder at the Australian bowling, taken a few chances, but that didn't happen. And I thought that Australia, as long as New Zealand went at a runner ball, they knew that they were always in control and a wicket or two could change the complexion of the game, and that did happen soon as the skipper got out after that half century. And even in the run chase, they lost a few wickets, but they were confident enough. They knew that their batting depth is there, their ability is there to chase down the target, and it was at the end of the day a professional win. I mean, they're the world champions. They're been playing cricket, good cricket, unbeaten for the last couple of years in the T20 format. So yes, it was a comprehensive and a professional win by the Australians.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you, Ricky, on this. So, Dr. Anand, let us move on to you. Australia are going to face India in the finals. They have the likes of Smriti Mandhana to bowl to, and she has been in red hot form, striking a couple of half centuries in two consecutive matches. So, what do you think is going to be Australia's bowling approach against Mandhana?
Yeah, she has been hitting a purple patch in this tournament, and I think that the approach would be, I think initially they're going to go with the fast bowlers, Schutz and Darcy Brown, and they are going to try as much as possible to attack her. I think they instead of carrying the ball up short of a length, the short ball could be one that the Australian seamers can start off with, as opposed to carrying the ball up, because she likes driving through the covers. She's good at straight driving as well. So I think the balls that are short of a length could present some problems for Mandana in the early um, contests.
Thank you, Dr. Anand, for throwing some light on what could be Australia's bowling approach against Smriti Mandhana and rest of the Indian batters. So, Neha, moving on to you, maybe on a lighter note, I would like to ask you that we remember the T20 World Cup, and it started with India Australia, of course, Australia winning that match, and it ended with India Australia. Sorry, with India winning that match, and it ended with India Australia, with Australia winning that match. Now, in the Commonwealth Games, we have a similar situation. So, what are your expectations from the final match?
Actually, I was just going to bring up this point in the predictions part, right? The pattern that we see. So, I mean, I would really hope that India can actually come through and win this match, right? Because winning against England was such a surprise, right? They did play as such a well-oiled unit. And versus Australia too, right? If they really play the way they played in that first match and not commit some of the mistakes they did, I think India can definitely, come on top. I mean, they have the pedigree. You have the batters are playing well. The bowlers look in place. So I think it's just a matter of time, and we can expect a good contest nonetheless. But he was really hoping that India can, win this one.
Absolutely. All right. Great. Thanks, Neha. Right. So, Dinesha, now moving on to India's batting. Australia have some good bowling attack in the likes of Megan Shute, Darcy Brown, the spin twins in Jess Jonas and Alana King. So, how do you think are the Indian batters going to approach the Australian bowling attack?
Yeah, with fire. It has to be. We're at a final. We're fighting for a gold match, so I do expect the Indian batters to bat with a lot of intent. I would love to see Verma come off today. I think she's been really quiet during this tournament, but with the way Smithy is going and Verma can come out, I mean that power play. I'm hoping we can get to at least 50 to 60. I think that'll be a fantastic start. It looks like a good batting deck. You can hit through the line. Um, and yeah, look, if you look at Australia's pace attack, they're going to offer you pace. And the beauty about pace is that you just get it slightly wrong. We can use that to all parts of the field. And I think, especially with the Indian batters, in terms of risk positions and positions they get in to access different areas of the field, I think that's a matchup on its own. So I'm really hoping to see a score of maybe 160 to 170 today. Just in terms of the middle order, if India gets off to a start, I would love to see them bat really deep. So when I say really deep, I'm talking about can we get to 140, 150 strike rate? Because I think we've seen it in the England game. We had a really good start. It was a fantastic start, but then somehow we could have got to 180, but we didn't. So I just think where's our boundary options then? And yeah, I mean, we don't want to settle for a 140, 150. We know we're going up against a top ranked team, really good in all skill sets. So let's put pressure on them. Let's get a score to at least 170 to 180. The way we're going to do that is probably bat in partnerships, understand that who goes when, which bowlers to target, and whoever's bowling on the day, do we have the discipline to at least get six or sevens from them and maybe attack further. But ultimately, I think as an India as an India batting unit, I would just love to see them, especially that last 6 to 7 overs. If we can strike at about 140 to 150, I think we can have that ability to put totals on the board like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So batting with intent will be the key for India's success against Australia. I think that is what, in nutshell, Dinesha meant to convey to the audience. All right. So Sonia, ma'am, I think in the last conversation you mentioned that Harmanpreet Kaur, she likes to chase, but I'm sure that you must be pretty surprised that she won the toss and elected to bat first. So what do you think if Harmanpreet Kaur wins the toss today? What do you think she'll opt to do?
I think today they will definitely bat first because chasing under pressure. I think they don't want to do that. That's what I feel from the semi-final match. So putting up a good total is what they must be looking at because it's a final match for the gold medal. And rightly said by Dinesha, if they're going to bat first, definitely 170 has to be on the board because you have. For that, if Harman plays till 18 19 over, they'll definitely reach that 170 mark because last match also in between like few overs like 8 to 15 overs there was a bit of a slow runs coming in as compared to the power play because we were just amazing in power play thanks to Smriti. And rightly again mentioned by Dinesha, it's a high time we see Shefali Verma also fire, and maybe today is the day.
Fingers crossed that Shefali Verma comes out all guns blazing, and let us hope that she gets a good score against Australia in the finals. All right, so Anisha, what do you think could be a comfortable score for India if they are batting first or they are chasing?
So if they're batting first, I would want at least 160 plus. And chasing, they should limit Australia to below 150.
Interesting. All right, good. Let us hope that India is able to get to at least 150 in this match against Australia. Now, moving on to you, Ricky, what do you feel is going to be Australia's batting approach against India's bowling? Because we remember that Renuka Singh Thakur, she picked up 4 wickets against Australia early in the league stage, and also India is blessed to have some great spinners. So, what do you think is going to be Australia's batting approach against India's bowling attack?
It's going to be interesting. I think in the last game, in the England game against India, they decided that the English players decided to attack Thakur up front. And I think Australia might come up with that same strategy because she's been bowling brilliantly right throughout these champions, the Commonwealth Games. So they might try to attack up front. It won't be easy, but then again, their players are good against faster bowling against the spinners. So they will try whoever bowls, whether it's Thakur or whoever India employs in the power play. They will try. They will go fight. They will try to maximize that power play and get much as possible because they know in the middle overs, India have some quality spinners who can put the brakes on the Australian batting. So I won't be even surprised if India, try to use a spinner early in the innings as well to restrict the Australian batting, try to pick up an early wicket or two. So it's going to be uh, interesting. I think it's going to be interesting whether who is batting first, who is batting second, if Australia are chasing, what sort of a total they have to chase. If it's something like we are all mentioning that if India bats first, they need to get, I think, 170 plus. So then Australia will have to go hard at the Indian bowling. But if they are going to chase something 150 or below, I think they will take the game carefully. They will not want to lose because they know they have the batting depth to chase 150, and it's all possibility they will. So how much India scores if they win the toss and bat first is crucial. It's also crucial to see if India wins the toss, what Captain Harmanpreet Kaur will do. They lost batting first against Australia, but they won a big match against England, batting first and defending. So how comfortable will they be? And it's going to be interesting, I think, how they will approach this game. The toss is going to be very crucial.
Certainly, certainly. Now, Dr. Anand, if we look at Australia's matches in the league so far and also in the semi-final, we have seen that they have had different match winners. So, how do you comment on Australia's depth so far in this competition?
One of the strong points of Australia's batting and bowling is it's versatile. It's very versatile in that they can call upon different players at different times to deliver. And by being able to do this, they can maintain a certain momentum. They even in that first game where they were 5 for 49, they were able to continue the momentum throughout the innings And I expect that is something that they will continue to employ in today's game as well. If they bat first, they would be looking to score as much as possible. And I agree, 170 plus is a good score. And scoreboard pressure, it's a final. And also, when you put a good total on the tins, and you have a good bowling lineup, and both teams do, you now back your bowlers, and this must be complemented in the field. And this is going to be important. The team that wins today will perform in all three departments. They will bat good, um, field as well as bowl. And we would have seen in that semi-final the importance of fielding, the three run-outs that India had, which complemented the score that they put on the tins. So I think Australia's versatility in their batting, their diversity in their bowling attack, both seamers, you have the off spinners, you have the left arm spin, will give them that momentum. They have shown over the years that they can win finals, and they do have players who are match winners. And I think this is what they're going to be depending on heavily in today's game. I don't think they have performed to the best of their ability throughout this tournament. And I think today they will want to deliver. And at the end of the day as well, they all won the gold medal. Both teams won the gold medal. And I think that should make the game much more exciting as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So, Neha, can we have some key matchups from you? What are the key matchups that you're looking at from the India Australia match?
Right, when you have sides like Australia and India squaring off, quality matchups is something that you definitely look forward to. So I think Darcy Brown versus Smriti Mandana is something I'm definitely looking forward to, because Smriti Mandana has this tendency of going after pacers, right? And with Darcy Brown, she swings it in, and Smriti Mandana tends to like step out of her crease to negate that swing. So I think this matchup is definitely one I'm going to watch out for, because Darcy Brown even got the better of Smriti Mandana in the last time the two teams squared off. And Megan Shute versus Jemima Rodriguez is another matchup I'd love to see, because Megan Shute is such an aggressive bowler. She really gets her line and length right, and Jemima too has been in like fine touch, scoring those crucial runs for India. So this matchup is also what I'm going to be watching out for. And obviously, Renuka Singh Thakur versus the top three of Australia is another matchup that I would love to see again. A repeat of what happened in the league stage will be something we as Indian fans will definitely be looking for, getting the top three wickets. So yeah, exciting matchups ahead.
Absolutely. So I remember in the last match when India Australia played against each other early in the league stage, Renuka Singh Thakur just rattled the top order of Australia. So let us hope that she is able to deliver something against the Aussies tonight. All right. So we are getting some questions from our fans. So maybe we can start taking the questions, and finally then we'll move on to predictions after the questions. All right. Okay, Steve Carl has a question for us. For a team to get over the line, there has to be an all-round effort on display. We haven't seen it either with Australia or India. They have been lacking in one or two departments. Thoughts of the panel. Dinesha, would you like to answer this?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Steve, for the question. No, definitely. I think you get to any match and you want all three departments to fire. We actually haven't seen it. Um, Actually, throughout, if you look at throughout the tournament, there hasn't been a side that has done really well. I think Australia does come close, and India were really close against the game against England, but you wouldn't say it's close to that 90% region. And yeah, I mean, if you look at a game like this, you're playing for a gold medal. Uh, you want to get all three departments, and the main thing for me, and it's been on my mind for a while since the 50 over World Cup, is the fielding aspect. Uh, I think it's just something that needs to improve holistically in women's cricket. Uh, it is getting better from year to year, but I do believe that the fielding department, in terms of taking catches, moving laterally on the field, the boundary throws, I think it's something that we can get better at. I mean, if you look at that game against yesterday's semi-final, Australia and New Zealand, and I made a comment: if New Zealand takes the opportunities, that will be a different ball game. So the game did go deep. I know that Australia was just containing the run chase, but if that opportunities have been taken, we don't know what result would have been of that game. So it's really really important. I mean, we spend a lot of time in the nets working on skill specific stuff. So it's your batting, your bowling, your shot selection, your variations. But fielding, especially when it comes to T20, it's sort of the glue between a win and a loss. And I think that's something that both teams will be looking to really do well on. I think both teams go with fair enough confidence into the field after their two previous outings. So, yeah, hopefully the team that wins today does really well in all three departments. And if they do, I'm sure the results will take care of itself.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dinesha, for answering this. Dr. Anand, can we have your perspective also on this question?
Yes, I am in total agreement to Denisha's comments that fielding is going to be very critical, and as I always say, catches win matches as well as the runouts. And I think going back to yesterday's second semi-finals, New Zealand will be ruining the chances because it could have altered the complexion of the game. And I think today we would expect that both teams will want to make sure that they get all three departments correct. The batting, the bowling, but that has to be complemented in the field. So for those 3 hours overall, we would want to see a high level of fielding from both teams, and both teams would also be depending on that, which is supposed to be a very close game. And when you have close games, it is the runs that you save on the field that may make the difference, whether it's through runouts, through catches, or preventing twos, restricting to ones, or converting, reducing threes into twos. Those are the differences that can play a telling factor in the final that is supposed to be very close today.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Anand, for answering this one. All right, can we take the next question now? Okay, Ranu has a question for us. Pacers or spinners, who is bagging more wickets in the game in this actually grassy cricket pitch? Sonia ma'am, if we can have your comments on this.
Actually, looking at the pitch, definitely it is helping both, I will say, because initially, definitely the Pacers are getting more, and what we've seen through what Meghna Singh, even though she is leaking a bit of runs, she's swinging the ball nicely. Even Renuka Singh Thakur and even the other Pacers like Brunt is there, Megan Shutt is there, but later on, the grass is not going to be the key factor because it's a dry grass, so it is helping spinners more. The way Dipti Sharma and Sneha Rana utilized the pitch yesterday, so it is helping definitely both spinners and pacers. And it was, if you will see the yesterday's match against England or even the New Zealand Australia match, it did help spinners more in compared to pacers. So I think it is definitely helping both of them, but I think spinners will be bagging more wickets today.
Okay. Thank you, Sonia ma'am, for your answer. So let me ask you, Dinesha, you have been like a queen of predictions. So what is your take on this?
Yeah, I think that's a spot on answer. It's actually very difficult to have a follow up for that day, but I'm in full agreement with that. I think, like I always talk about seam presentation when you're bowling in the power play as a pace bowler. There is lateral movement, there is there, but we've got to ask the right questions. We can't be swinging the balls in areas that's not going to matter. If we give in width, we're going to find the ball at the boundary all the time. So we're chasing leather. So look, I do believe that first six, if the ball is moving laterally, you ask questions. There is an opportunity for pace bowlers to pick up a lot of wickets. But I'm going to stick with the stats of the tournament. I think there's going to be a lot more spin wickets, and I'm only saying that because I've got a feeling that India is going to bowl a lot of spin today, and I believe I know that the Australians will want to take them out the attack or try and take away the spin aspect, which is so strong for India, and I think we're going to get a lot of wickets from that.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Right. Can we take the next question? Linda James is asking us, Grace Harris has looked in good touch. We saw that what she can do against India in the opener. With Elisa Healy not performing, why don't Australia let her open as she does in the domestic and WBBL? Ricky, would you like to answer this?
Option there, but I think Healy is a proven and tested player, and he's a top performer. We discussed this yesterday as well. She's a big match player. We never know when she will come good, but when she does, she's a match winner on her day. So I don't think Australia are going to do too many changes, do any tweaks at all coming into this final game. If at all, if they wanted to make such a change, they would have done it earlier on in the tournament. So I don't see that happening, but certainly that's an option. Like Linda James mentions, Grace Harris has been in top form. She has scored runs opening in the innings, good in the power plays, but he is a top class player, and I think they will stick with her and hope that Grace Harris will come good when she gets, if and if she gets the opportunity to battle in the middle order, that she will perform well once again for Australia when it's required. Those are players that are utility players. They can bat anywhere in the order because they're all aggressive sort of batters, the Australian players, so that they can go hard anytime. They have the power. They have the power, unlike the subcontinental countries, so that they have the power to clear the boundaries. So I think Grace Harris will do her role effectively in the middle order as well.
Thank you. Thank you for answering this one, Ricky. Okay, can we have the next question? Okay, Naman Sharma is asking us, do you see India stick to the same 11? In playing Tanya, can Yastika be brought in or is Meghna in place of Meghna Singh to add an extra batter? Anish, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I would think that there has to be a change. Not Tanya can retain her place, but Meghna Singh can be replaced by another batter. It could be Harleen Deol or S. Meghna because she has been expensive with her bowling and not that and her wickets tally is a bit low in this tournament. And also plus we have two other bowlers, other pacers, I mean, who are very effective, Renuka Singh and Pooja Vastrekar. And we because in the semi final against England we bowled seven bowlers, so I guess we could afford to go in with one bowler less and have an extra batter,
Right.
sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Anish, for your answer. Sonia ma'am, what is your thought on this? Should India make any change to the playing 11?
I think if they want to add one batter, they have an option of getting in Yastika Bhatia, and instead of Meghna Singh, they can have Rajeshwari Gaikwad with a spinning option, because they have two medium paces, or three medium paces, which was not actually required in the last match when you saw Shefali Verma coming in and bowling, so that the pace could be taken off from the wicket. So I feel this is the option they can have, with which they will have an additional batter in. Place of Tanya, you can have Yastika, and then in place of Meghna Singh, they can have Rajeshwari as a spinning option.
Right. So, a couple of changes by Sonia ma'am. Dinesha, your quick thoughts. Should India make any change to the playing 11?
Yeah, look, that's good options out there. I mean, I'm a big fan of Gaikwad, so I would love to see her play in the final. But I don't think they'll. I don't know if there'll be any changes. I don't see the need for any change. I do know um, Meghna Singh isn't she isn't hitting the straps, but she is a quality bowler. And if she, like I spoke about that lateral movement early on, she gets that movement in the right areas. She could have like one of those match winning performances. So if I was in the India camp, I'll back her. Maybe just give her a talk and previous to this year as to this is where we've been bowling. How do we get that just maybe a little bit straight and maybe a little bit fuller? But yeah, I'll still back the plain 11.
Right. An unchanged playing 11, I think, from Dinesha. All right. We have the next question. It is from Netha Chaudhary. Jess Jonathan often used to contain the runs for Australia. Of late, she's looked a bit off color. If she finds her lost touch today, how much of a difference can she alone make? Neha, what are your thoughts on this?
I think Jess Jonathan is a fantastic player, right? Every time she's thrown in the mix, she always gets those crucial wickets. And in the first match versus India, she did manage to bag those 4 wickets. Although one might contest, that the wickets were because the Indians were trying to attack her and they just mistimed the ball. It landed in the fielder's hand. But still, she's a class player. I do agree that she's looked a bit off color, but that's the strength of Australia, right? If there's one player who's not clicking, you always have 10 more people who would raise their hand and take responsibility and just step up. At the moment to just deliver the goods. So yeah, if she does find her lost touch today, she can definitely make a big difference, right? Because if she can restrict those runs in the power play and come later on in the middle overs time when you need to curtail runs, I think she will be an asset for Australia.
Thank you, Neha, for answering this one. Okay, can we have the next question? Okay, Harsh is asking you, Dinesha, powers are very real. You didn't pick one last time, but it was Tahu with a wicket first ball. Looks like it isn't even about you answering the question, reaching you alone is the trick. Dinesha, would you like to comment on this?
Yeah, I'm going to leave it as that. I think the powers in the universe just wants you to ask the question. So I realize that the powers doesn't lie within myself. But we'll take a chance. Why not? Let's go first ball somewhere today.
I hope it is an Indian bowler picking up Australian wicket and not the other way. All right, great. So I think we have another question. It is from James Taylor. Australia, before the start of the games, never won a game at Edgbaston. So far, we have not seen them get anywhere near their best. What do you read between the lines? Dr. Anand, would you like to answer this?
Seen them. I think that they're not gonna be thinking about whether or not they have won a game at before the tournament at Edgbaston. I think they are gonna be playing a final. They are accustomed playing in finals, and I think they are gonna play, give it their best, in all three departments, and hope to become the first gold medalist for women's cricket. So that's what I expect of them, to remove any unnecessary pressure, play the game as it is, and look to capture that first gold medal.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Anand, for answering this one. Okay, can we take up the next question? Okay, Wheel of Time is asking us, rather than risking Shefali being asked to bowl, is it not more feasible if one of the top three batters try to bowl leg spin like Sachin did? Sonia ma'am, would you like to comment on this?
See, basically, I think Shefali has been bowling recently. Started bowling. I think she's bowling in the domestic circuit as well. That's the reason. And sometimes it does happens that you get a bowler who is not been bowling, just bowls few few overs here and there, and that's the bowler who can get you a wicket. So maybe that was the reason Harman got in Shefali in the last match, or even the match against Barbados. And I've seen in the Sri Lanka series, Shefali has been bowling well. So that was maybe in Harman's mind to get her in bowling in the last match as well as the previous match, a match against Barbados. So instead of getting three batters to bowl, I think Shefali is doing pretty good job. But the timing of her bowling, maybe we can, maybe Harman can deal with it in a better way, more better way. Timing of when to get Shefali.
Absolutely. So just to add to what Sonia ma'am said, I was just reading an article about this Shefali Verma bowling in the match. So Harmanpreet Kaur said that whenever we are in a pressure situation, she just asks who wants to bowl, and Shefali is the first one to raise her hand. So probably that could be one of the reasons that Harman is going to Shefali and get those couple of overs from her. All right. So can we have the next question? Okay, Shiv Ram is asking us, it is so pleasing to see Jemima bat at number three and score runs. Just a random thought, how far do you think is she from an ODI call up? Now, Anish, would you like to answer this?
Oh, she has definitely come on song whenever called upon and most needed. Like against England, we were looking for runs and she showed up, and also against Barbados when we were four down and she took us till the to a big score. So I would think that she's not far off from a ODI call up, but we'll have to see how she performs in the domestic list A games.
Absolutely. So, Dinesha, would you like to comment on this? Do you see Jemima making her ODI comeback?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think I also have to be on the selection panel there in India. She's a quality player. She's a really quality player. I think when I didn't see in the ODI squad, I think a little, but like a part of me was a little bit confused. But yeah, I mean, India's blessed with a lot of talent there. So I suppose it's really a big headache for the selectors into picking when it comes to the ODI squad. But I mean, she's just scoring runs now. She looks like she's enjoying the cricket. Watching on the side during that England and India semi-finals. I mean, that was like epic to see, and you want players like that there in your setup, whether it be T20 cricket or ODI cricket. But yeah, she's a fantastic player. I do see her very close, if not the next series, she's there already. But I'm in full agreement with that comment.
Okay. So, Nevam, finally, your thoughts. Do you see Jemima making her ODI comeback?
Yeah, sure. She's been batting really well. She's looking confident. She's scoring too many runs in the other leagues as well as the matches played in India, and even in the domestic circuit also she was scoring heavily. So see, basically she is a exceptional player. You know, just because of her form, she was not in the team, but definitely she is a player who will be staying longer in the Indian ODI team as well.
Thank you everyone for your thoughts on this. All right. Can we take up the next question? Okay, Primple Reich is asking us, what do you guys think about Meghna's form as a opening bowler? Sonia ma'am, maybe I would like to ask you this question.
Previously, as Dinisha mentioned rightly, that Meghna Singh is a very talented bowler. She is a big swinging bowler. So, even if she bowls in those right areas, she will be really difficult to play, because the other way also, after sixth over, she was swinging the ball really well, and she was making the batsman play and go and miss at it. So, it's not that she is not in the form or such anything kind of thing, but it is just that requirement of the team and the situation in the match is what is I feel that Rajeshwari should come in for Meghna Singh. Nothing as specific against Meghna, because she is a very good bowler. You know, I've seen her closely as a bowler. So uh, that swinging habit or the swinging ability of her, I think if she bowls in those right areas, will be really helpful for India. But in this, considering today's match or the situation for the Indian team, maybe Rajeshwari can be helpful. That's the only thing.
Right, great. Neha, can we have your thoughts on this? How do you see Meghna Singh as an opening bowler for India?
I think she has been impressive in the recent times, although this Commonwealth Games and the statistics don't really support her on that front. But I think the team management should definitely back her, because as a young player, you're just setting into the international arena. So you need that backing from, the team management. And I think, they can use her more smartly instead of, using her as from the other end, like right at the start of the match, probably use her at different stages of the match, guide her as to, what are the line and lengths that would be more appropriate to bowl. And I think we will see her, flower into a very good bowler for India in the future as well.
Thank you. Thank you for answering this, Neha. All right, I think we have one last question from a fan. Okay, Hania Khan is asking us, on second thoughts, keep aside Renuka Singh Thakur, how has the rest of the bowling attack looked? Isn't that a slight bit of a concern? Dinesha, what are your thoughts on this?
Um, I don't think it's a slight bit of concern, to be honest. And maybe before the semi final, I would have said yeah, possibly. But I think the way India backed up their performances, even though Reneka didn't go as well as she would have liked. And I think I made a comment in our last preview match, is that England would have probably seen that, let's attack the best bowler, let's hit her out the attack, and let's see what we have on offer. And I thought that between the spin attack, the spin attack as well as Pooja as well, I thought they complemented that very well. So I don't think it'd be slight bit of a concern. I think that actually is probably the extra competitive advantage that India may have needed leading up into this final. Because if Renuka bowled well again, then maybe they would have been exposed. But I'm glad that they got that out the way, won the semi final, and yeah, look, I'm expecting a intelligent bowling against from the Indians today. So yeah, I don't think it's a bit of a concern. I just think if she gets going with that support of the rest of the bowlers, quality. But if not, I think they'll manage in the field.
Thank you, Dinesha, for answering this one. All right, so let us move to Neha's favorite segment of this conversation, which is the predictions. So, Ricky, if we can start with you. All right, sorry, I can't still go to the predictions. We have another question or a comment rather. James Taylor is saying it has been great hearing from all of the panelists throughout the games, few here and others who aren't on today's live. A big thank you, James, for following our channel and asking some interesting questions as well. All right, so if we can move on to predictions, Ricky, you can predict the team you think is going to win today, the top batter and the top wicket taker.
Well, with so many Indians in the panel, I can't get beaten up by selecting Australia. Well, it's going to be a close game. I think both sides have played good cricket in these Commonwealth Games. Both are good sides, highly talented players, And like Anand said earlier, you need your best performance on the day. I mean, some of them, it is their once in a lifetime opportunity to win a Commonwealth gold medal. Some of them may never play this Commonwealth again. So everybody is raring to go. And it's a big moment. It's a big moment. You're representing your country. It's like I mentioned yesterday, it's not like just another bilateral series. And Australia have won many T20 World Cups, but this is different. You're part of that country setup, and it's a big moment. So everybody has to stand up on the day. We discussed, I don't think 100% is enough. You need to give maybe 200%. uh, every small thing you do contribute is going to make a big difference. The toss will play a crucial role. Uh, if India wins the toss, I feel they will bat first, and but if they bat first, they have to get that 170 plus if possible, because Australia is batting is heavy. And again, I feel if Australia too, if they win the toss, they might decide to bowl first as well, and they have done well chasing. So you never know how they will go, depending on the surface as well. So it's going to be an interesting battle. I mean, just looking at it as a cricketing perspective, when you see the stats, the records, the recent form, everything in place, and the first game between these two countries, you will put your money on Australia and say Australia going as favorites. But the way India performed against England, and the way India have been led by Hamanpreet Kaur, we saw that in the Sri Lankan series as well. They are a well-drilled unit, some fabulous young players, some good all-round cricketers, and good spin attack, good young pace bowlers as well. So if they do beat Australia, I won't be surprised. It's not going to be a surprise to me, because they are good a team as Australia is, and it's just that probably that bit of experience in Australia's favor, because Australia played in big tournaments, they have won knockout games, they have won finals, which India hasn't done. So maybe that bit of confidence in Australia's favor, but overall it's going to be an exciting game of cricket.
Great. Thank you, Ricky, for your predictions. Dr. Anand, can we hear from you who you think could be the top batter and top wicket taker for today's match?
Um, I would like to say that overall, I think this tournament has been an excellent advertisement for the continued development of the women's game. And so, women's cricket have won in the gold medal for in this tournament, and I think that I'm hoping that this continues that building that platform for the women's game. Um, Similar to Ricky, I think that it's a very mind-boggling question as to who will win, because both teams have been playing well. They both have depth in their batting, their bowling. They have demonstrated good fielding. Could always be better. I think that Australia will be starting off as favorites in the sense that they have had the experience of playing in big events in the finals and winning as well. And I think who manages their temperament, the atmosphere, the occasion best will come out on top. But just based on experience, I think Australia will have the edge. But as Ricky said, I will not be surprised if India pulls it off as well. So I would give Australia the edge based on the experience of having played and won on the big big occasion. In terms of the best top batter, top bowler, I would not dismiss Elisa Healy. She hasn't performed as yet in the tournament, but these are the occasions that she strive on. So I would not put that past her from an Australian perspective. Talia McGrath as well, and Meg Lanning, who has quietly been around but still haven't done much with the bat. And from an Indian perspective, I think the captain has done an excellent job in marshalling her troops, and that's a big plus for India cricket in this tournament and moving forward. And she's someone who could also be a big occasion player, especially with the bat, and of course Smriti Mandana at top of the order. So I will give Australia the edge just based on experience playing on the big stage and finals and winning. But I would not be surprised if India also wins the gold medal. But overall, cricket has won in this tournament.
Absolutely. Beautiful thoughts that by Dr. Anand. All right, Neha, let us get your quick predictions.
Right. So this has been quite a special tournament for Team India, right? Coming in, we were going in with big hopes of landing our hands on a medal, and if not, winning this match, we'll at least end up with a silver. But I think our players have worked so hard, to actually get that goal. And when I looked at the head-to-head statistics too, it's not a very healthy side because Australia does have the edge, having triumphed over India 4 times, and one while the other match was there was no result. But I think Team India can be really proud of how they've played throughout, and Australia will give them a good fight. And as the panelists have previously mentioned too, I wouldn't be too surprised if India does end up on the winning side because they've just worked so hard throughout the tournament, and they do have a lot to be proud of, and we can expect a very good match. So if I had to give predictions, I probably would, as much as my heart pains, but I think Australia does have the edge, right? Because we've seen in crucial match situations how they just, make the most of all the resources available and just end up on the winning side. And they always end up, presenting their best side. So I think Australia does have the edge, but India can, back themselves for the win. Uh, who will score the most runs? I think Smriti Mandana or Talia Megra. These two are my players to watch out for with respect to most runs. And bowler, I think Darcy Brown or Sneh Rana. Like these are two bowlers who I think will, make an impact today. So here's hoping for a great game.
Great. Thanks. Interesting picks that by you, Neha. Right, Anish, let us have your predictions for this match.
Yeah, so I feel that India will win. It will be a close match, but after they came through with a very tough from a very tough semi-final where they were pushed to the limit, so they should stand up today and pass the test. And as per the head-to-head count goes, as Neha mentioned, I think the law of averages will play a role today and favor India. Yeah, so that's my prediction. The result will be concerned, and for who will be the highest wicket taker in this match. My prediction yesterday came true when I said Sneha Rana would be the most wicket. So I will go with her again today. And as per who will be the highest scorer, it would be either Smriti Mandana or Jamima Rodriguez.
Thank you, Anish, for answering this one. All right, Sonia ma'am, let us get your predictions now.
I think everyone has said most of the things, but
Yeah,
yeah, definitely I will see. Looking at the stats, definitely Australia do have that a slight edge, but I will say that all these years or maybe few years till 2 3 years back, India had that problem of like, if they lose those early wickets, then again getting into that zone and scoring those runs for the middle orders used to be a bit slightly tougher. But these days, in the past 2 to 3 years, they have been covering that area really nicely. Even in yesterday's match, Harman's wicket fell early, so Jemima and Dipti, covered the entire match so well that they got us to a 160 plus score. So similar. If conditions or similar situation happens in today's match, so I think these are the players, Jemima, Dipti, Sneha Rana, or for that matter Pooja Vastrakar, will be definitely useful. And I think prediction wise, as I said before, that India do definitely Australia do have that statistical edge, but I think India are charged up to win that gold from yesterday's match. What we can say, what we can see, as far as highest run getter is there, I would say Smriti definitely, and even I would go for Alisa Healy because she's been really quiet and she has that habit to score in the finals. Though I really don't want her to, but she is that player, who comes actually and score runs when her country needs it. And wicket taking, I will say, it will be interesting to see how Alana King bowls. She's been into wicket, she's bowling really well. So she and Sneha Rana again definitely are the bowlers who will be in wickets.
absolutely. Thank you, Sonia ma'am, for your predictions. Finally, Dinesha, I think through our conversation, I'm sure you must have gathered all the power of prediction. So let us hear your predictions for today's match.
Yeah, I mean, what else do I need to say? But I do want to just appreciate the sentiment made by Mr. Rampasad in terms of women's cricket winning the gold. Yeah, I think that's a valid a quality comment. I think I actually had goosebumps when you said that. You're such an advocate of the women's game, and you know, yes, I might be patriotic to South Africa, but I mean, you just talk about women's cricket and how it's grown over the years. I think we can just take that little bit moment to appreciate that. Yeah, I think in terms of predictions, um, it's going to be a great contest. I think we all mentioned it. Stats wise, it says Australia is going to win, but I do believe that India is better prepared for this final. Uh, just in their league stages into the semi-final and leading into this match. Uh, I don't. There's not anyone specifically that I'll say that'll be who will be the highest run getter or wicket taker. But for me, my matchup is going to be the captaincy between Kaur and Lanning. I think that's something I'm really looking forward to see how they manage their troops and as well as their innings in this final.
Thank you, Dinesha, for answering this. All right, so finally, I would like to thank each one of you, starting from Sonia ma'am, Dinesha, Dr. Anand, Ricky, Anish, and Neha, for taking out time and talking to us about this all important final that we are going to witness in moments' time. It is between India and Australia, and the winner of this match is going to clinch the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. So, just despite being from different countries, like we have Dr. Anand from West Indies, Dinesha from South Africa, and Ricky from Sri Lanka, it was indeed our pleasure to have you talking about the India Australia match. So, thank you once again. Thank you to all the viewers and fans for watching our show right through the Commonwealth Games and for asking some interesting questions and keeping our discussion very engaging. So, thanks a lot. And yes, maybe I'll see you all soon because I'm sure we have a busy women's cricket calendar ahead of us. So, I'm sure that you people will be joining us for our upcoming shows as well. So, I take this opportunity once again to thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
God bless.
Thank you so
And thank
much.
you for hosting us as well, Julie.
Thank
Pleasure,
you.
pleasure. Thanks.